What it do, family and friends? Welcome back to the Church of Black Power. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you're hitting that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please hit that link in the description. Go to change.org and put your signature on the petition for reparations. And with that being said, family, earlier this week, I put out a video. And basically, in the video, I was talking about gatekeeping. Basically, I'm going to play the video, but I want to talk to you all today about being the gatekeepers that we need. I want to talk to you all today about being proud of gatekeeping our culture, our dialect, and everything overall that's FBA. That's the FBA, American Freedmen. So with that being said, family, we're going to jump right into this. There's several points I want to touch in a short bit of time. So let's get into this video. So I did this video a couple days ago, 17th. If you don't follow me on the X app, Twitter, then go ahead and shoot me a follow. The Church of Black Power, or at the Church of B1. But I want to play this video.
What it do, family? It's been a while since I did a video. Stroll with me. I have a question for the family, the Black Americans, the descendants of American slave freedmen. What is it that make people want to decipher and decode our dialect and our culture in general? That's because a friend of mine sent me a reel where we had a brother breaking down the 5 different ways that a black uncle will fight. Brother was on point, but that got me to thinking. I've been seeing a lot of content creators talking about you black if you have this in your house. You black if your parents did this. Why is it that we're trying to hand out a flat blanket of blackness? No other group do this. Then it'll be the same people that take what you then taught them and use it against us. Then they'll go running around talking about we ain't got no culture. I think it's about high time all that nonsense stop. You're helping in the erasure of your own people. What it do, family? It's been a...
So that's what I want to talk to you about today, family. These folks out here trying their hardest to push themselves into a realm where we are. They're trying their hardest. And the fact of the matter is, they're failing, dramatically failing at that. I want to talk about people like Fat Joe, who went and sat down with Matt Hoffa, the tether that, if you've watched my videos for a while, this is the 3rd time that Matt Hoffa is involved in some nonsense that he should not be speaking on. The first time was when Matt Hoffa, who is a tether, by the way, allowed RFK Jr. to come up in that barbershop and tell those people in there, those black men that was sitting in that barbershop, the video's right here on my page, that reparations should be microloans. And I called Matt Hoffa out on that when that first happened. Then Matt Hoffa was sitting there talking about Drake making chess moves with this lawsuit, this, that, and the third, basically just, really glazing Drake up. And I had a problem with that because we've been getting done wrong by the industry for so damn long. Drake was complicit with everything that he's claiming that Kendrick is doing. But yet, he didn't have a problem with it until it affected him. But again, Matt Hoffa was on the scene trying to basically take up for him, acting as if it was a chess move. Now, Matt Hoffa has this tether, Fat Joe, sitting in the same barbershop, telling tether to tether lies. Shout out to Black Alpha Network. Washed up rapper Fat Joe is still having public meltdowns over FBA and the classic documentary Microphone Check. Shout out to Tariq for that. No matter what you say, Joe, FBA created hip-hop. Stay mad. And I absolutely agree. But what I want to do is I want to play this video. There's a couple of them here. And we're going to go through it piece by piece, brick by brick, and see what he had to say.
These rumors were made by radical black racists.
First and foremost, let's start there. One, FBA is not a radical hate group. FBA is not radical racist, as he calls. First and foremost, racism in itself. Racism is prejudice plus power. And I cannot stand when people know black people can be racist too. No, they cannot. We can be prejudiced to the core, but we cannot be racist because we don't have any systems in which to withhold or upkeep that racism. Racism is a systematic thing. So we cannot be racist whatsoever. These people do not know the difference between prejudice and racism. Prejudice is a part of racism, but it is not racism. The full core of racism is prejudice plus power, having the ability and the systems in place to keep people from doing what they want to do or doing what other people can do. So no, we're not racist. Let's continue. We'll start that over.
These rumors were made by radical black racists.
And also notice how he's calling the truth a rumor, even though he can't back up anything he's saying with any type of actual facts. He can't show you the first Puerto Rican rapper that was rapping during the time that we started hip hop. He can't show you clips from the 1930s, clips from the 1940s, clips from the 1950s, clips from the 1960s of Puerto Ricans rapping with black people when we were rapping with each other. We have video evidence of this. But it's a rumor because he don't like the fact that we're calling it out. Let's continue.
Let's just say that, okay? It's a group of these guys that don't want to hear Jamaican, don't want to hear Guyanese, they don't want to hear a black guy that ain't down with them.
So now he's trying to say that we don't want to hear anybody else that isn't FBA. Didn't Kendrick just put Lefty, whatever his gunplay, I guess his name is? We're going to get into him too. Pause. But didn't Kendrick just put Lefty Gunplay on his album? Even though that man was running around talking about he didn't want his daughter marrying a black dude. And I'm be honest with you, I respect him for telling the truth. But what I don't respect is this lie that he's going around pushing, talking about the black and brown coalition in Los Angeles. I'm from LA. And we're going to get into that deeper as well. There is no black and brown coalition throughout California. You might have a few of them that's cool with us. You might have a few people that gets passed, but the overall situation in California when it comes to Mexicans and blacks, no, there is no coalition. Hispanics at all, there is no coalition. Anybody who's ever been to jail in California would be able to tell you that. Because you might be buddy going into prison. You see your same buddy in prison and he gonna act like he don't know you. And if it pops off, guess what? He's gonna be popping off with them. Because he knows that if he doesn't, it's gonna get popped off with them against him. That's the facts. Ask anybody who been to jail in Riverside, Temecula, more specifically. They call that the war zone. Southwest prison. Excuse me, Southwest jail. It's not a prison, it's jail. But they specifically call that prison the war zone because of how many times it pops off in that location. Between the Hispanics and the blacks. And they link up with the white boys to do it. So miss me with the nonsense. But this man, we're going to get to the lefty. Let's pull it back over here. He's acting as if black Americans ain't been the people putting on all these different cultures. It's been us. Let's get back into it, man.
Right. Right? So their job is to criticize anybody who don't look like them or who ain't black American.
No, our job is to criticize anybody who's trying to remove us from our own story. Which you're trying to do, Fat Joe. Which a lot of you who are not black Americans are trying to do, Busta Rhymes. And I know y'all saw that Busta Rhymes been having all this trouble with his concerts being shut down and things like that. He was supposed to go over to Jamaica and do a festival. That got canceled. He was supposed to be on the Missy Elliott tour. I believe that got canceled. If it didn't, my apologies, but I didn't hear anything about it. But do you know what this man went to go do right after? Because black Americans wasn't rocking with him. He went and jumped on Ice Cube's new song, Ego. He jumped on the remix. So once again, he ran back to a black American when his stuff started to slow down. But yet, we're the ones who don't want to see this. We don't want to see other people if they're not black American. Stop that nonsense.
These guys.
You want me to say a name? We're going to give them too much clout.
I mean,
the FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the...
See, this dude knew what FBA stands for. He knows. Because he just said black Americans a few seconds ago. Hold on. So he's doing that as a dig.
Who ain't black American.
So he just said black American. The only thing different when you put FBA in it is you're adding foundational onto Black American. So now all of a sudden he acts like he don't know what FBA is because he throws off the A from American and turn it to authority. That just shows you he's been hearing the Black authority, Jason Black. And he's starting to get irritated by it. That was what it was. It was a shot at Jason Black. It was a shot at us.
Who are these guys?
You want me to say a name? We're going to give them too much clout.
I mean,
the FBA, Foundational Black Authority, whoever the fuck these broke niggas is.
So we're broke niggas because we're gatekeeping our culture, what belongs to us, huh? Okay. So make sure you keep that same energy when you come around FBAs. When you go around them in the industry, I don't want to see you on those songs with FBAs or artists who are FBA. I don't want to hear about you talking about I got Black friends, all this other stuff, because all that means is that you have Black immigrant friends. Because you don't rock with FBA. FBA is a lineage. It is not a cult. It is a group of people that has literal lineage stemming directly from the slave fields in America, which Fat Joe do not, which Buster without the rhymes do not, which a lot of these tethers, mostly, if not all, do not. And I say mostly, if not all, because there are some people who are mixed. But they're making themselves a tether. Oh, that's fully on them. Let's continue.
I'm just keeping it a buck. And that shit is to attack everybody on Twitter. You see this nigga who run them? Like, your leader? Yo, man.
Once again, now he's trying to take shots. And that was a shot at Tariq, even though Tariq says and tells everybody there is no leader here. We're moving on code. The code is the leader. But yet, they're out here trying to make it seem like Tariq is the leader. You seen this nigga who's done more for the Black American community than you have ever seen anybody has done in hip-hop. And if there are other people in hip-hop that's done for the Black community, shouts out to them. But let's be very clear and honest here. I definitely see Tariq doing more than a bulk of a lot of the people in the industry. Most. Shout out to Kyrie Irving. But he's not in the music industry. But that's what he was doing. He was taking a shot at Tariq. He took a shot at the Black Authority, and he took a shot at FBAs.
You gotta be fucking kidding me, man. And so they trying to change the narrative. They're not from New York.
First and foremost, let me clarify this. Tariq had in his movie microphone check, the pioneers. The pioneers of hip hop was in the movie. So when you're talking about these people aren't from New York, my mother's from New York. She's from the Bronx. And she didn't say it several times over. Hell no, there was no Puerto Ricans around us. They were on their own side doing their own thing. They were like Spanish Harlem area doing like salsa and merengue and all that other shit over there. But they wasn't at the parties with us. I have homies right now who are still in New York who have said the exact same thing, and they're much older than me. I'm only 38. But I got folks that literally was there. They're in literally going into their 60s and 65, mid 60 area. Let's continue.
Right.
So they telling a whole nother story. This was whoopity doop wop. This that yo, bro. Far as I know, we're at Yankee Stadium right now, and it's hip hop's 50th birthday. And the guy who invented it, Grandmaster Flash.
Grandmaster Flash did not invent hip hop. But he keeps pushing that narrative, that lie. We know for a fact Grandmaster Flash did not invent hip hop. But that's their claim to fame. They have to hold on to that lie. Because if they don't have a leg to stand on. My bad, family. Let's get back there.
My brother carried his crates. My babysitters made up the, let me hear you say, ho. It's two girls, twins, used to babysit me.
What he's doing right now is that Kamala Harris nonsense. When we called out Kamala Harris for not being Black American and we stood on our square, what did she started doing? Oh, well, the woman who babysitted me, she was like a mother to me, and she was a Black woman, and, you know, she was very instrumental in help raising me. Now he's over here talking about that. Oh, my brother used to carry Grandmaster Flash's crates. My babysitters, they were twins. They came up with the term. That doesn't mean nothing. So you're trying to tie yourself onto someone else's lineage because you were around them? This dude just literally said his babysitters. Let me run that back for you guys, man.
To babysit me. They made up two girls, twins, used to babysit me. The babysitters, my brother carried his crates. My babysitters made up the, let me hear you say, ho. It's two girls, twins, used to babysit me. They made up, let me hear you say, ho.
So what was the Puerto Rican contribution? If your two twin babysitters who were Black created, let me hear you say, ho, what did the Puerto Ricans create? Don't worry, I'll wait. What does your brother carrying crates have to do with the actual action within hip hop? Don't worry, I'll wait. Because it makes no sense.
So they have a big problem, these guys, right? So they're against anybody who ain't with them.
Now notice how he just mentioned those two things that had nothing to do with evidence of Puerto Ricans being 50-50 creators of hip hop whatsoever. He gave two stories, or basically gave two examples that had nothing to do with the creation of hip hop. My brother carried crates for Grandmaster Flash. What does that have to do with the creation of hip hop? That means he was a lackey. My twin babysitters came up with the phrase, let me hear you say, ho. What did Puerto Ricans come up with in hip hop? And he can't say that. And then he moves right on as if his word is law. That's what he did. He tried to stroll right past it right after he said, and you know, my twin babysitters created the phrase, let me hear you say ho. Notice he didn't say whether his babysitters were black and Puerto Rican.
So this ain't a popular message. This ain't what everybody's saying.
This man said it's not a popular message. Then why was Microphone Check #1 for so long on Amazon? Before and after Tariq had to revise it to the non-colonized version? If it's a small pocket, why are y'all so bent out of shape that a small pocket of people is calling you out on your nonsense if it's such a small pocket? It's because you Puerto Ricans are a much smaller pocket. And we have the largest voice in the room. Tariq has done a lot of different interviews about Microphone Check. You notice Fat Joe went and sat down with this tether, having a tether-to-tether talk, a tether-to-tether lie session. But he wouldn't go sit down with Lord Jamar. Lord Jamar literally put out a challenge for all of them. Crazy Legs or Lazy Legs, as he calls them. Fat Joe, Busta Rhymes. He opened up the door. And he has his own podcast, the God Pod. Go subscribe if you're not subscribed to that. And it's a phenomenal podcast. But see, he's not going to go to a person that's going to intellectually challenge him on his nonsense because he has to be intellectually dishonest in order to push his agenda.
You might be giving them too much light right here is what I'm trying to tell you.
Right.
So it's a small...
Nah, Joe. It was us that gave y'all the light in the first place. And now, since you've been running around with Kamala Harris, she done put a battery in your back to try to take something that don't belong to you.
Minority to get on them Twitters and they running it up. We got a fucking Looney Tune like your man Lord Jamar, who's a fucking Looney Tune. Mm-hmm. Okay, he's a loony bin.
So Lord Jamar is a Looney Tune, but yeah, you wouldn't debate him. People who actually has foundational Black American lineage, you're basically trying to, I don't mean nothing. He's a Looney Tune. He's trying to discredit all people of our lineage who is not allowing his narrative to survive. So let's see who he called out already. He done called out FBAs. He called out Jason Black, the Black Authority. He called out Tariq. Now he's calling out Lord Jamar. Now tell me, family, does it seem like he big mad or does it seem like he big mad?
Right? We just said that the drug of choice is attention. It's this and this and that. They get a guy who, he was a legend. He's brand Nubian.
Right.
And he's the wackest nigga in the crew.
Fat Joe, you was a whack-ass rapper. You had one big hit. One big hit. And it wasn't even because of you. It was because of Remy Ma. Honestly, anybody, I want you to do a case study. I want you to talk to anybody who thought that lean back joint was hot and ask them what made it hot. And here's another thing. She was the reason why All the Way Up was hot. So do you see what's happening here? This man don't even have, literally do not have the authority to even talk about who's hot and who wasn't. Because really, people didn't start paying attention to him until Pun died. And people really believe that he didn't took Pun's rhyme book, including people within his own community. Let's continue.
Be clear. But now, this nigga might be like trying to get lit, trying to say anything. The world's flat, the this, that, anything to go viral. Rumors.
Family, Lord Jamar is not out here just saying anything.
Radical.
I have never heard, as a matter of fact, I was just listening to his podcast earlier, I think it was earlier today. I was listening to his podcast where was it Billy Carson? Ben Carson, whatever the dude name is, versus the Christian guy in that debate. I literally just heard Lord Jamar say that if people were as astute with their research as their beliefs, nobody would believe that the world is flat. So the fact that he just literally threw out that he believes Jamar is trying to say anything, the world's flat and all this just to get attention, that's not what Jamar is doing at all. As a matter of fact, he's keeping it pretty 100 from what I didn't see. Now, of course, I'm not going to agree with everything that everybody says, but for the most part, the brother breaks down a lot of stuff on his podcast. And it's never no weird stuff like how this fool just said. Let's get to this other video real quick.
I just told you I stopped my shit because I go too viral. I'm scared. I'm too viral.
Right. I think we in the information era.
First and foremost, let me tell you how much of malarkey I smell in that statement. I stopped my stuff from going too viral because I'm getting too viral. Shut your lying self up. Because if that was the case, you wouldn't be trying to be seen with Kamala Harris interviewing her. If that was the case, you wouldn't be trying to literally put yourself in front of every interviewer you can get in front of with this nonsensical lie that Puerto Ricans help create hip-hop 50-50. That's like saying Mexicans created LA culture 50-50 when that's incorrect. And when I say LA culture, I'm talking about lowriders. I'm talking about, whether you like it or not, the gang banging, crip walking, blood stomping. Like there's a whole culture that was bred that had nothing to do with the Latinos or anybody else. It was Black Americans doing what we do best, even with the gangs, which was originally to fight white supremacists and the popo, who was coming into our neighborhoods terrorizing people. Shout out to Tookie Williams, R.I.P. to him. Let's continue, fam.
I'm too viral.
Right. I think we in the information era. Some people just,
this tether right here, I don't even know what, family. I'm gonna let it play. I'm gonna let it play. I'm gonna let it play through, and then we're gonna leave this alone because I'm done with these fools here. This tether to tether nonsense. And this is why we've been delineating from all of it.
They see so many paths, they decide to pick one, and some of them ain't the most popular one. So, they just.
But what I'm trying to tell you is that this opinion comes from a tribe.
Right.
It comes from a group of people that hate everybody but them. This.
Notice how he called us a tribe. A group of people that hate everybody else. Actually, everybody else hate our group of people. That's why y'all keep trying to steal what we done created. That's why you try to take a legacy that does not belong to you. That's why you continuously disrespect us as if you can. So miss me with this, we hate everybody, when what we hate is the fact that you're doing all this nonsensical bull stuff and then think that we're supposed to just lay down and take it. Pause.
Radical Jews, there's radical Catholics, there's radical Puerto Ricans,
Right.
there's radical anything. If you do enough of that shit, enough of in-house racism, you wind up looking at the world fucked up.
Notice that he said in-house racism. One, there is no in-house racism. They may be in-house prejudice, but that in-house prejudice does not come from our side. It comes from black immigrants. It comes from Latino immigrants. It comes from all these people that are not a part of the foundational black American culture, who feel so entitled to be in our black American culture.
You can't even move around.
Right.
You understand? So that's how this shit come about. These guys don't like nobody but them. So hey, fuck that. This guy, why? How could he say this? How could he? Bro, have you been to my hood? Do you know where I'm from?
Yeah, you're from Puerto Rico. That's where you're from. And it ain't even your hood. It was a black neighborhood that got gentrified by Puerto Ricans. All of a sudden, my hood. Shut your ass up.
We did my brother's funerals. More black people than Spanish people at the funeral sitting next to my mother. Do you know where the fuck I'm from?
Where are those black people from? Because if you got some Jamaican immigrants, if you got some Haitian immigrants, Caribbean, African immigrants sitting next to you, that does not nullify what we're saying. And just because you had that experience, if you had that experience, it doesn't mean that you get to nullify what the actual experience of the foundational black American is. You sound stupid. Borderline third.
But you trying to tell us what happened over here. All the legends I know, when I go to the legendary shit, they're all black and Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And I sit there with them and I'm like, and they don't believe it. They don't understand.
Family, what legends that was around at the time came out and said that Tariq is wrong? Tariq put the literal founders in his movie. Why haven't y'all gone to those founders and had these conversations? Because you can't tell the person that was there that they wasn't there. You can't tell a person that was there that they're wrong from the experiences that they lived.
They don't understand like that talk. They're like, yo, what the fuck is this about? Like, they're confused. The pioneers, the Grandmaster Flashes, the Cool Hercs, the Melly Mel's, the this. They're like, yo, we don't know what the fuck these people talking about.
Cool Herc. Cool Herc. That's the man they lean on. I said Grandmaster Flash earlier, but that was my mistake, family. Cool Herc is the dude that they lean on, the Jamaican that moved to New York when he was 12. The man that wasn't even old enough to partake in hip-hop when hip-hop was created. But okay.
Because they on Twitter and they doing a little something, but what, I don't know what the fuck these people doing. Like, they're confused. They fucked with the wrong nigga. That's the problem.
You're not a nigga. And even when we say that to you in passing, it is not saying that you're a nigga. These people shouldn't even be saying nigga at all. He has no ties to the slave fields in America. But this is what I was talking about in my video earlier, when the first video that I showed you all. Then they'll take what we do and try to use it against us. And then claim we have no culture.
Fat Joe the wrong one. He always been the wrong one. He the Achilles of the shit. He gonna come out with that. So you remember Achilles? They wait for the nigga. They look. Is he coming out? Is he coming out? Achilles run out with the sword. Oh my God!
Family, this is the nonsense that these tethers are sitting around joking about. Notice, he cannot go to a person who is not a tether and say this, because he'll get checked on it. That's why he's sitting there calling out all the people that he called out, checked him on this, and offered to do it in person. Now, Jason Black may not have offered to do it in person, but Tariq had no problem offering to educate these people in person. Lord Jamar had no problem offering to educate this person in person. And the FBA family has no problem educating this man in person. And that's what we've been doing. And that's why he's so frustrated. But I'm going to end with this segment. He cannot bring up or give you a name of not one Puerto Rican rapper that was rapping during the inception of hip hop. At all. Because there was none. They wasn't there. And even when we give these people a leg up, let's move on a little bit. They have issues doing what we do and how we do it. Here's an interview with that dude, Lefty Gunplay here, right? And in this interview, he was talking about how the shit gets crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious. He's talking about how he has such a hard time saying that one line. But yet you think that we should believe that you people had a hand in helping create hip hop, when many of you did not even speak proper English. Like the common sense of this whole thing just is not there. Common sense would tell you that a people who is fresh in the country, who barely speaks a lick of English, cannot build anything within the Black American society. There's a language barrier. That's why they had to create Spanish Harlem, for God's sakes. But check this video out, family.
Yo, that's where we at.
Crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy.
1 second, family. Want to make sure this ain't peaking.
Scary, spooky, hilarious, it's crazy.
Yo, that's where we at.
Crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious, it's crazy. Scary, spooky, hilarious, it's crazy. Scary, spooky, hilarious. That was so hard for me to do.
Yo, that's where we at.
Crazy, scary, spooky, hilarious, it's crazy. Scary, spooky, hilarious, it's crazy. Scary, spooky, hilarious. That was so hard for me to do.
If that was so hard for him to do, imagine a person who barely speaks English trying to come in and rhyme the way that we used to rhyme. This is new school rhyming. People who could barely speak English was able to go to New York, and they were able to hit that old school flow. Y'all remember? D's on the brakes. Break it up, break it up, break it up. Riding around town in my 70s Benz. Hit a quick left, picked up all my friends. Like, that style in itself is a unique style in itself. And you can't tell me that they were able to pick that style up and then use it to help create hip hop. Think about that. Let's move on, family. We're almost done here. See, this is the problem that I have with the lefty guy. I don't have a problem that he told the truth about whether or not he wanted his daughters dating black men. I prefer the truth. I can actually work with a person who tells me the truth to my face rather than try to go behind my back and stab me in it. Now, some people, they don't understand that, but Dwan B, shout out to him, made a very good point. And it's more on, it's more on this situation here where people are kind of upset that Top Dog, they went to my old neighborhood. I'm from Watts. They went down by the Nickerson Gardens and they put on a Christmas show. And people are kind of upset that TDE and Kendrick, I guess you could say, are literally like pushing these Hispanic artists and all this other stuff. Especially when the Mexicans were the ones who, whacked out his mural. But as Dwan said, it was those Mexicans who put up the mural anyway. It might have been another group of Mexicans who whacked it out, but I get where Dwan's coming from on that. But for the most part, the part I truly agree with is when he was saying in every area within music, there's always been people being used to achieve and accomplish let me rephrase that. To achieve a goal that they have set, a vision that they've had in their head, or that's been brought to their spirit. Sometimes only certain people can bring that forth. Michael Jackson has worked with many white artists. So have Prince, Keenen Ivory Wayne. People have no problem using us to get rich. So why should we have a problem with our people using other people to get rich as well? And if I'm correct, I believe Lefty is signed to TDE, or they got like some joint venture going on or something like that. I might be wrong there. Don't hold me to that. But regardless, LA is a black and brown market. So I understand the business of this. I do understand the business of it. So the thing I want to touch on is this fake ass black and brown thing.
I catch a fade with the homie going round for round. And if my homie knock me out, then I'ma gun him down. I said they seen an essay dropping rounds. Now what you know about MCJ sitting for count? What you know about that 6 o'clock count time? Call me fucking lefty gun playing, I'm bout mine. I'm bout it, and I feel like see murder. On the gang, on my mama, they call me with that burner.
Hey, my flag on the right like lefty, I'm about gunplay. My killer's tripping from Sunday to Sunday. Bitch, we from the west side, all we really know is truth. I had to jump off the porch and lace my boots. Bitch, we drive foreigns and we ride old schools. I plead the fifth, fuck the judge, I ain't telling clues. It's a gangster party, black and brown, we united. Fuck the police, we run away and get excited.
Now, I let it play on because I wanted him to say that part of the line. Those two going to county together ain't gonna be no black and brown, we united. And as a matter of fact, if you guys are like too close to looking like your buddy, them essays will literally force the dude to either pack you out or they will pack him out. See, black folks in jail, we don't do that. You mind your own, we mind our own, we live and you live. We mind our business, you mind your business. And as long as nobody disrespects the other, we're cool. That's not how it is with the Mexicans in the prison system in California, though. No. And it's not like that with the white supremacists that they linked up to. Anybody in California can tell you this. Anybody who's been to jail in California can tell you this. That's what politicking is. If y'all don't know about the gang term politicking comes from the jail situation. Once you go into jail, the blacks with the blacks, the Asians with the blacks, or they call the Asians others. So they put the other Asians with blacks. And then the Mexicans go with the Mexicans. The Sureños go with the Sureños. And the white boys go with the white boys. And if something pop off, you are expected to fight for your race. Or else they're going to pack you out. Ain't going to be no stalling them out. It's going to be a straight pack out. If it don't go further than that. So we got to quit all this nonsense and we got to start calling out the people who's trying to perpetuate the nonsense, especially if they're from California when they know god dang well how these people are. I ain't even got to talk about the Mexicans in the city council, Nuri Martinez and her cronies. We can keep it straight on the hood stuff. And that'll show you how much we are not connected. That's BS. But now since Lefty done got on Kendrick's song, he come out splaining and apologizing.
That's right. You love black and brown people. You explain like your logic behind everything.
Look, people got that misconcepted. I just want to break barriers and show people what is the truth in a lot of LA homes.
This man looks like he's on drugs. He looks like he's high off of drugs. Family in the chat, let me know. Does this dude look like he's high off of drugs?
I don't got no problem with blacks. I love blacks. Problem with it wouldn't be LA without Mexicans. It wouldn't be LA without blacks. And it's the way you're taught in jail. LA County Jail makes you that way.
Notice what he said. He said the exact same thing that I just said. county jail and the penitentiary, they are literally ruthlessly out there packing, or excuse me, getting into these brawls with Black Americans. That's why Temecula Jail, Southwest Jail, has been nicknamed the war zone in Riverside County. Look that up, family. Anybody from the IE can tell you that. And I had the pleasure of living in many places throughout California before I moved to Houston. I done lived in LA County. I done lived in the Inland Empire. I lived a bit towards San Diego. I lived in Cal City for some time. I've been around. And trust me when I say the relations between Black and browns don't change at all, no matter where you move to. I remember I was living in Banning, California at one time, and my family was kind of big out in Banning for a minute or whatnot. So we had our little clique together, protecting each other and all this other stuff. We called it Trey YC. And this was a bunch of different youngsters who was from a bunch of different sets getting together to basically protect each other because we all we got and we're family members. So my cousin was from 6ix9ine. We had members from we had members from Hoover, all because we were family members. We decided to create this clique. Now, when we did this, we created the clique because of the fact that the Sapos out there was consistently trying to start issues with Black folks in the city. It got to a point where we got into an all-out brawl. It was like 20 of us versus 20 of them. I'll never forget this day because my brother and I, we was fighting back to back. I move away to sleep one guy, and this dude pulled out a knife, tried to cut my bro. And my bro, he whipped that belt off like he was Pops from the Wayans brothers so quick. We couldn't laugh at that time, but when you know when you get home and y'all start telling the stories about what happened to each other, and you go to tell, no, let me tell you what this dude did. I swear everybody in the house cracked up. Because that man, when I say he whipped off that belt and started swinging it at that dude, it's ridiculous. But I digress. People who know. And everyone else will try to convince you that the people who know don't. So family, I want to move on now from this guy. And this is what I'm saying. It's very important that we gatekeep and be proud of being the gatekeepers. Because for so long, we've been people been gatekeeping us with our own stuff. When the radio stations turned predominantly Latino, we started getting targeted and our music started disappearing while they get and they play all the music from their people. But I want to show you what happens if we do not gatekeep our culture. We are the culture, ladies and gentlemen.
In the morning and the party's still jumping. Mama ain't home. I got bitches in the living room getting it on. I ain't leaving till 6 in the morning. Just what are you gonna do? We got a pocket full of rubbers. The homeboys will do too. Turn out the light. Close the door. Yeah, but first I'm gonna smoke out to this
We got Snoop ODO'd over here. Snoop ODO'd. And I ain't mad at him. Look, this is the thing. People are acting as if we don't want people rapping or things like that. No. That's not the case. Our issue is people trying to remove us from our own history in order to insert blank here. Pause. So then, when it comes back around, you'll have these same people doing things like this, but saying, we don't have no culture. Oh, wait, hold up. We're going to get back to this, but I want to show you this.
Yo, Bunda. I'm getting my fuck up in there. Drip. Hey. Drip. I'm getting my fuck up in there. Acha, no more. Keep up, can't stop. Ooh, singer, yeah, bad man, killer. I some move, I some rock, I some sip my liquor. Move, you wet, keep up, got jazz, drop, quicker. Make a dance couple times, girl, I take my picture. I'm making fuck up in ya.
Nigga second bad, but somebody gotta do it. Chip, put up on the gas, but somebody gotta do it. Chip, nigga second bad, but somebody gotta do it. Chip, put up on the gas, but somebody gotta do it. Move, but somebody gotta do it. Chip, but somebody gotta do it. But somebody gotta do it. Chip, put up on the gas, but somebody gotta do it.
Now, family, I'm not gonna lie to you. That was pretty hot. I liked it. I actually like it. But the thing is, it'll be these same people that try to say, we don't have no culture doing this, taking stuff from our culture and infusing it into their own. That's what's happening here. That's what's happening here. It's gotten to the point, and when I say we're teaching them how to replace us, this doesn't just mean in music. It doesn't just mean like culturally in the streets. I mean, it's Hollywood is pushing this. They got one of the homies, and shout out to Dub C. They went and got Dub C to go and basically train someone on how to be a Black American. And that's where we'll come here.
I have a dialect coach. His name's Dub C. He's from West Side Connection. He raps with...
Oh, the rapper. Okay.
Yeah, real OG.
Okay.
And it was amazing.
That's your dialect coach?
I know, right? So you could understand I was petrified all the time. So I was staying downtown where they put me, and he called me up, and he was like, yeah, what's up? It's Dub C. Yeah, I'm gonna be your dialect coach. They wanna call me a damn dialect coach. Anyway, I'm downstairs. This is me. What? He's like, yeah, come downstairs. I'm like, how do you know where I live? He's like, don't worry about it, homie. Ain't nothing but a G thing. Click. Oh my gosh, there's a gangster waiting for me downstairs. So I get there, and he's like, what's up?
So family, they're literally using us to train other people to be more us. You get what I'm saying? We got to speak out. We got to gatekeep who we are, because they're literally manufacturing people to come and act as if they're us. British accent and all. But this right here, this is going to be what we land on today, family. I saw this video, and I'm going to mute it or leave it muted, but it's this white woman crip walking, or doing a poor imitation of a crip walk, to Kendrick Lamar's Turn the TV Off, or excuse me, Squabble Up. But just look. And you got people who are really trying to say she ate. You really got people trying to say she's eating. I left a message. And of course, you can't see my message because I didn't log in. But I left a message saying, the Crip Walk is a Black American cultural dance. Stop disrespecting our culture. You know what this white lady did? She blocked me. And that's what they do. They steal from us. They act like it's in the honor of honoring us. They steal our stuff, and then they turn around, and when they get called out on it, they block you or they try to justify it. And that's not how we get down. So, family, I'm going to land here and let you guys, marinate on this, because I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like anybody who is literally pushing for this is just pushing for our erasure. And with that being said, family, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you can be notified whenever videos like this drop. Please make sure you hit that like and share button so we can beat up the algorithm. Make sure we get this message out to the ears that need to hear. And if you have not done so yet, please make sure you hit that link in the description. Go to change.org. and put your signature on the petition for reparations. Family, we are the people we need to be at this point in time. And we got to make sure that anybody who's speaking up about Black Americans, if they're not Black American, they get slapped right back down. We got to start disciplining these folks. So trust me when I say, once we start disciplining these folks left and right, whacking their head like whack-a-mole paws, then I guarantee you we're going to see less and less of this rhetoric of inclusion in Black culture. And that's that. And with that being said, family and friends, the doors of the church are now closed. Peace, family.